Hey guys, it's Diana. Welcome back to my channel, and I just want to start off by saying that I am so sorry that I've been gone. I know it's been like 3 weeks since my last upload or something like that. I've gotten a few messages from you guys saying that you missed my videos. I took an unexpected hiatus, but I'm back. We are fine. And I have a story for you guys today. First off, if you would like to follow me on Twitter, I highly recommend doing that. I post pretty often. I do like a lot of updates and stuff there. The link to my Twitter is always in the description of every video that I post, and it's at the beginning with my little logo card thing that shows up. But if you don't know what it is Dianna with 2 N's, D-I-A-N-N-A with the number 2 and S. That's my Twitter. Follow me there. You'll find quality content. But anyway, so here's my story. I applied for a job and I did not get it, which sounds lame, but I want to go through the whole process with you. So this particular job was for an administrative assistant, basically, like to a person. So I would have had like a direct supervisor. I'm not going to say what the actual position was or what the organization is, because like some of you may already know this if you follow me on Twitter, if I've like talked to you privately about it. Some of you may know it just like maybe based on some of the things I might say here. But anyway, it was like basically for an administrative assistant, right? So I would have been like directly assisting somebody who would have been like my direct supervisor. It wasn't like just a general admin thing. It would have been remote, work from home, obviously. All of the positions currently at this place are remote. The job was made possible because there was a grant that this company had gotten to create this position. So the salary was what it was. However, the job itself would have required a lot more work outside of the traditional 40 hours a week, which meant that had I gotten this job, and keep in mind that this position has already been filled. Obviously, I was notified that I didn't get it. They moved with another candidate. I know who the candidate is. I am very happy for them. I was devastated when I first found out that I didn't get this job, but looking back on it and you know, about some things I'm going to say here as well, it is definitely for the best. Basically, because of this grant, the salary was what it was, meaning like no overtime. At least like that's my assumption, because they only have a certain amount of money for this position based on the grant that they were given to create it. So had I gotten this position, and I know that there would have been a lot of like work outside of the typical 9 to 5, because that's what I was told during the interview process, I would not have been getting paid for any of that work. It would just be like the base salary, like no more no less, because that's all they have due to the grant. Some of you may be being like, oh, like whatever, it's a job, and I get that, but if it's something that is requiring a lot of demand, especially outside of work hours, typically you would think that you'd get overtime. Not in this particular position, again, because of the stipulations outlined previously. So there's that. There's also the fact that it would have required travel once COVID was over, which I would have been fine with. However, there were a few things. Basically, I would have been missing like events that would happen because, you know, I would have had to work the whole event, which again, some of you may be like, oh, free trip. Yeah, not really. Yes, I would be being paid to go there. Yes, they would probably like put me up for accommodations or whatever. But again, working like 10-hour days at this event that would probably happen in the future, you know, it's a lot of work for one person, and then again, you're not getting paid for the whole time that you're going to be there, just for like whatever you do within the 9 to 5 work time. I had my first interview, it went well. I moved on to my second interview, and that went well too, and I had my final interview. I went through the whole interview process. I knew this job inside and out. I knew some of the people who were interviewing me. However, throughout the interview process, at some point I was told that I was a top candidate, which, considering I did not get this position, and evidently it was a like very tough decision, but I know other people in my life who work for HR and who have worked for HR in the past, and the HR person was not the one who told me I was a top candidate. It was another person in the interview process. You don't say that to somebody unless like they're going to get the job. So I was going throughout this process with a lot of confidence because I had been told, oh, you're a top candidate. Oh, like you interviewed very well. Oh, X amount of people applied for this position and we've only gotten this far, and with people like, you know, a significantly smaller amount qualified for the first interview, and blah, 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 blah from there. And, you know, saying stuff like that, being like you interviewed very well, that's great, but I've been on a lot of job interviews and usually it's always left ambiguously because that's like how practices are basically. Like you can't really let somebody know one way or the other that you're gonna get the job when like there's other red tape involved. And I don't know who made the final decision, and obviously, you know, they made this decision based on the information that they had. It was just, again, disheartening to be told, oh, you're a top candidate, and then like a week later be like, oh, you didn't get the job. Which, yeah, that's life. I've gotten rejected by a lot of jobs and some of them I've just applied for and never heard back. Like my application just goes into the void, like I'm sure many of you have been facing, especially now. And it's just very frustrating because I just want to work and I want to be able to move out of my parents' house, and I want to be able to, you know, start my life, but I can't really do that without like a job and income. However, I am glad that I was able to have that interview process. It's just that there are quite a few things that were like, looking back on it, red flags, not just in the job description itself, but also like throughout the interview process. Like I said, saying that I'm a top candidate and saying, oh, like I would love to work with any of these people who applied for this job. Like, yeah, okay, that's great, I guess. And also the thing about the grant and just other factors that went into it. It would have been nice to have this position, yeah, and work for a few years possibly to get my feet wet, maybe go somewhere else within the organization or whatever. But because it was being funded by a grant, there's no guarantee that it would be there for more than a year or two. They only just use the grant until the grant money runs out, and then they're going to have to get another grant. And I didn't know really anything about this. I kind of knew about like positions funded via grants, but my boyfriend told me a little bit more because that his parents hire a lot of students to do work for them based on grants that they get. Having that background information and, you know, thinking more about it made me feel better that I didn't get this position. I know I would have done very well at it, and I'm glad that I, you know, got that far in the interview process and did well in the interviews. I mean, of course, like I'm an intelligent person, but again, to just not get that job, and like I made myself sick with anxiety before one of my interviews, before my final interview. I don't know. I mean, I guess now I have more time to create content for you guys, so here we are. That is the story that I wanted to tell you guys today that kind of consumed the last couple of weeks of my life, which is why like I haven't been posting, or at least one of the reasons. I have other stories and more content obviously that I'm going to be posting in the future. Again, we're back, we're here, we're great, we're fine. But with that, thank you guys for watching. I am gonna go finish this coffee that's behind me, and I will talk to you later. Bye.